Abdullah, for having me here. And thank you all of you for being here. So I know.
I'm going to have to compete with the audience here, aren't I?
Love works better if it's in the afternoon onwards, no? But thank you so much, all of you. God bless you. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Now, with such a celebrated film career, what would you say has been your guiding principle, both on and off that screen?
I think two very simple things. I've said this often enough so people would know about it, but I think the idea when you're working in a business, whether it's the kind of business I do, which is filmmaking, telling stories, or DP world, doing freight business, I think the concept is to be able to give joy to people and keep an environment of joy while you're working with people. I think heavy-handedness, tension while working does not produce the best products. So I keep joy, and I think the other part of it that I've always maintained, and I believe in it, is to take the burden of expectation on yourself. I would like to lead, as they say, by example. If I'm working in a film as an actor, as a producer, I'd like to take the lead and say, see, I'm going to take the hardest step forward. I will take the biggest risk, I'll take the biggest chance, and I hope everybody comes along with me. If I'm leading it, if I'm not leading it, I'm hoping the leader tells me the same thing.
Having good people around you,
and good people is very important. Happy people around. Unhappy people, bad people is a no.
How do you think your experience in the film industry translates into lessons or strategies that business leaders can apply in their own fields?
I think the first thing, I'm sure everybody learns this. First, let me just say this, I'm in this room, everybody knows business better than I can ever understand. So I'm just giving some spiel, but to be honest, I think it's very simple, that you have to remember that who you're catering to, the consumer. You have to fully respect the desire of your consumer. If you don't do that, I think you'll be going wrong. Yes, you can innovate, you can try new things. Sometimes you can indulge yourself, at least in my field, and say, okay, I'm going to play a certain kind of a role because I can or I want to. It's my artistic and my creative outlet. But I think at the end of it all, the main concept is, what does the audience want? If they want me to put my hands out, then I have to put my hands out. I can't. Even if they tell me don't put your hands out, I'll still put my hands out. Right? So you have to cater to the consumer. And the first thing I think everybody should understand, that when you fail, because I think that's an important part of doing business and strategizing business. I think when you fail, you should not believe that your product or your service or your job, whatever part of work it is, has gone wrong. I think you've just misunderstood the ecosystem you're working in. So you have to understand how people are reacting, how people are emoting, and if I can't elicit an emotion from the people that I cater to, then my product is not going to work, however wonderful it is.
I can't imagine you failing at anything, but are you critical of your career at times in your work?
I am, and I hate feeling, and then I cry a lot in my bathroom. But I don't show it to anyone. I come back because I think you can wallow in self-pity for just about that much time and have to believe that the world is not against you. The film didn't go wrong because of you, or the world is conspiring to destroy your work. No, you have to believe that you made it badly, and then you have to move on. And there are moments of despair, but then there are moments which say, no, shut up, and get on with it. So you have to do it finally, because the world is not against you. You should not believe things are going wrong only for you. Life moves on, and I think if you can imagine yourself as an ant, me, a very good-looking ant, but nevertheless an ant. Sometimes a whiff of wind takes you away, or you get stormed. The wind is not working against you. It's just doing what it does. Life does what it does. You can't start blaming life for the failure. You have to remember it must be something that I did wrong, or the business did wrong, or the strategy went wrong, the marketing went wrong, the emotion went wrong, and I need to figure it out, recalibrate, and come back.
You've worn many hats in your career. We mentioned some of them. There's actor, producer, entrepreneur, philanthropist. This is where you clap. What is the motivation behind branching out from those fields and from acting? How do you balance those roles?
So Jane, I don't know. I'll be very honest. Actually, a lot of it is need-based happened in my life and I just did them. So I don't know how to tell a good story about that except, my parents died, I have no money. I've actually studied to be a scientist, then I went on to be an economist, then I learned mass communication. So I've done my master's in all these things, which sometimes may not be relatable to why would you become an actor after this. But television came into India, and I was sitting there, and they paid me 1,500 rupees, which was a lot of money then. And I said, okay, this is a job, and I'll start doing it. And one thing led to the other. And I remember I was driving in a three-wheeler. In India, you have three-wheelers. And I was driving in a three-wheeler, and there was a mother and a daughter, two ladies. I don't know how they were related, and they were, I think, a little disturbed with life. And my scooter came and stood next to theirs, and suddenly both of them smiled. They were very happy. So once they got happy, I realized this is what I need to do. I need to make people happy. I just need to, I don't know these ladies, they don't know me, and they just got so happy out of the humdrum of their daily life, and whatever the reason, they just got happy. So I said, okay, this is what I will do. So I became an actor. Things went right because, like I said, TV was new. I was doing a film at one time, and I asked for a car with an electric window because I designed the scene like that, and the producer said, no, this is normal. I can't give you an electric window car. So I remember I was just lying down on the ground and trying to make it look like an electric window and assume, I was a big guy in the movie and I'm supposed to be while I'm doing it desperately from down here.
Always acting.
Yes. So I just felt maybe I should produce my own films, get a car which has an electric window. So I became a producer.
Your fans, they span generations and continents. How do you maintain a connection with such a diverse audience? What can global brands also learn from that approach?
I don't know if you can learn or not, but I'll tell you what I believe in, honestly. It's too self-aggrandizing of me to think I can teach anyone, but I think it's a very simple thing, at least in my field of work. I think it applies everywhere. Whether you're selling a bar of soap, whether you're freighting, whether you are transporting, whether you are selling a shirt. And in movies and in storytelling, it becomes a little more evident because we talk like that about it. But I think we all have very basic 4, 5, 6 emotions. We get angry, we get sad, we get happy, we fall in love, we have depression, we feel like dancing, we feel like jumping. So these basic emotions are common to all of us, in spite of borders, in spite of languages, in spite of color, creed, sex, religion, or what have you. I know that you feel sad. We both feel sad similarly. Okay, let's talk about things. We both feel happy similarly, Jane. We dance when we feel thrilled with life, and that has no language. I was just to let you know, I had a manicure just now. A Philippine lady was manicuring my hands very sweetly and put some paraffin wax also.
Shar shared with me earlier, you mentioned that you didn't go to sleep because you were so worried you were going to sleep in and miss this morning.
Yeah, I've had 6.
That's your dedication to being here at the summit.
That's not my dedication, that's my complaint. To Sultan. Call me so early. Evening session. I'm so fantastic in the evening session. I dance better. My hair flies so much better. My shades are on because my eyes are closed behind the shades. So I was saying, basic emotions, if you are able to touch, if you are able to get that happening, then I think your brand is intercontinental, it's interworld, it travels everywhere. And the second part, I think the basic emotions we have seen, and if you are able to hit upon that, I think you fly. And then there's social, or what I call superficial emotions, the sign of times, what is happening. So if you live in times of strife, your product needs to give you a feeling of safety. You feel in time of anti-establishment, you want to change things, then my movie needs to show me as a hero who will take the world on. So you need to remember these 2 things for your products, your services to do well. It should touch upon basic emotions. You should be aware of, like I said, the ecosystem and the social emotion that's prevailing. And I think if you can write that, so many a times, my success came in 90s when I think there was a lot of opening up of our country, India, and we were going all around the world and talking about India. And I think the kind of cinema I did, tuje dekha to so everybody liked it. some of them are the ones who got married watching this film. So everybody liked it. It was moments of happiness, goodness, love, Switzerland, and flying. So it was the sign of times. I think you need to recognize that for your product.
You have such amazing optimism. You know, many businesses in the world at times will face difficulties. They may have failure or setbacks. You know, can you, apart from the example when you didn't have the electric window, tell us about something when you faced a challenge and how you overcame that?
So, like I was giving you the example, you have to take recourse to 2 things or 3 things that you need to believe in. Of course, failure makes you feel very sad. You analyze it, then you have board meetings, and then you shout at the ones below you and say, you were supposed to deliver, you were supposed to do this, you were supposed to do that. But I just go back to the core. I think you need to, at a very personal level, figure out how you can have peace of mind. And then only can you have peace of mind at a professional level, at work level. Then you go and analyze what went wrong with the work that you did, and with an open mind. You cannot be sticky about the fact, no, but I work like this. So you have to be aware, and like I said, you have to believe that whatever failure has happened to you, and it's happened to me very often. Just a few years back, before COVID, all my films stopped doing well. I think I had to realize very soon that, look, I'm making bad films. I couldn't put the blame on anything else. I had to analyze. I couldn't say, oh, the audience doesn't understand. I was trying to build different cinema. No. I have to realize, no, it's not reaching out to people, it's not touching people. And I would like to tell, I'm sure most of everyone, inshallah, and mashallah, is successful here. I think success also somehow leads to failure because you get very isolated, not just physically. You get your ideas, you get isolation of ideas because you are so driven by the success, and I think that was my problem. I was just getting up in the morning, and I'm a hard-working person, I don't take it for granted. I was just getting and saying, okay, I'm successful, I need to keep doing this, I need to keep working hard, and I need to make this film, I want to do this visual effects, I want to fly, and I didn't realize that the world around me was changing. So I think success can isolate you and lead to failure. While you're successful, you need to be aware that the world is changing around you, and you need to look around. You can't be just with blinkers on.
Do you think that's almost you become a victim of your own success in terms of the added pressure you then put on yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, and the worst part is, Jane, you don't realize that you're getting isolated. Because everything seems gung-ho. Everything seems nice. You know, there's great following on Instagram and on Twitter, and everybody's saying, oh wow, he's so nice, and his hair flies so good, and the movies are, I love him. But you don't realize that that's old love. That is for the product you did 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And you have to evolve, and the evolution is not only personal, the evolution for products is according to the consumer. You have to change with what they like and dislike. And I think that understanding is humbling. But I think the best thing to do, I feel I need to get on, and I need to, though there was a time I decided at one time, you know, when I was talking about my failure, that I'll turn into an Italian chef.
Okay.
I'll give it all up. Yeah, then I started making pizza, and I made some stuff, but my pizza was not half as good looking as I look, or taste as good as me. So that's what lots of people say, tastes better than the pizza.
Actually, you could cook for the audience any day, I'm sure they'd be delighted. If you could go back in time and share with yourself one bit of advice, especially in your early career, what would that be?
Early career was so many years ago, actually, I suddenly realized. Sultan, I need to have the oxygen. Losing memory. But to be honest, I would not, my advice to the younger me, because now I have more experience, 35 years of working in this field, I think, I have a son who's 27, a daughter who's 23 and a half, and another one who's 11. So I equate, when I speak with them, when I talk with them, I realize that many decisions I took then, when I was 25, 26, I would not take them now if I saw it through the lens of my experience. And maybe if I didn't take it then, I would not have reached where I have reached.
Yeah.
So I think there would be no advice given to my younger self. I would still want to be, sorry this is politically incorrect, brash. I would still want him to be overconfident, bordering on arrogant, and being extremely stupid and silly, but being extremely gutsy also. So I think I would not be able to give any advice to my younger self. Maybe better hairstyle, better fitting suits. In 90s, my suits used to suck. All over, I see myself.
Developing process.
I didn't develop too fast. Mine was failing process as far as my coats. They were so big. I remember one movie I did, Ramjaane. Does anyone remember Ramjaane? This is really dedicated fans. Very few people saw it. Thank you. I'm so happy. You saw my suits and they're all over the place. So yeah, maybe better hairstyle and better suits.
He looks very good looking close up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're all wondering, and I'm very good. And smells delicious too, by the way. From a personal development perspective, do you have any practices or routines that you credit with helping you stay focused as well as motivated?
Yeah, I have a very simple, I mean they're very simple things. I'm so glad you asked this because I believe the focus has to be on your core competence. My core competence, I think, is being able to act a bit. I don't know if I can act well or not, but act a bit. And that's what I've been doing, and I've been trying to hone my technique in it, and my craft in it, and my art in it. And the focus can shift, but you need to find another focal point within that focus. But the core competence should continue. I hope I don't confuse you. But I'm an actor. My focus initially, in my early years, was to be able to make some money and make a livelihood. So the focus was very clear, but through acting. Once I became a bit successful, I decided I need to focus on innovation. I need to try new technology in cinema. I need to innovate myself as an actor. But the focus was still on the core competence through my acting. That never should change. The focus point or the focal point within that focus can keep changing. Now, my focus is that my youngest kid should also think I'm a big enough star. He's not seen too many of my films. He's 11 years old. So one day my elder kids came and told me, you know what? He knows you're a big star.
Does he understand that?
He understands that.
How big a star you are?
Yeah, I think he understands that.
Did you ever have to sit down and explain to him, and what point do you do that when you have your level of success?
So whenever anyone questions my stardom, I just walk across to my house, stand on the railing, wave to people. And I'm very arrogant about this. So when people come, I say, this is who I am. You understand? So, no, jokes apart. I joke like this. I'm not that. I'm a very humble person. But I'm really thankful for all of this, and I'm very grateful. And I bow my head down for all you people for having made this possible for me. But my kids, I want my younger daughters. I don't see it with humility. I say this with gratefulness. Thank you for making me the star I am. Thank you very much, and thank you for making my family. I want my son to experience the stardom. Knowing that I'm a star is not good enough, so I need to now focus through my acting in a way that I'm able to capture him as an audience. He's 11, I'm 10, 11. If I can capture him as an audience, then I'm capturing the younger generation also. So I need to figure out that my focus through acting should be now on being able to tell kids, 11 years old, that I'm a good enough star, that you can watch me. And I think that's different focal points within the focus that I can.
Is that how you measure your own personal success these days? Because you mentioned there, when you thought the films maybe weren't doing as well as previously, at what point do you think, yeah, I'm doing all right here?
I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, when films do 1,000 crore rupees. I don't know how much is that in dirhams. No, that's a material way. I really feel that the audience now, if I can talk about films, not just business, audience now has changed a lot. And life has intermingled a lot with social media and become part of storytelling. It's become too young. My 13-year-old can make a film on his telephone now, right? Kids can make a film, and good films and great films. They can tell great stories. So you have to be aware that their video literacy and audio literacy has gone beyond what it was 3 years ago. In 3 years, it has changed a lot. So you really need to focus on trying to be able to hold the attention of youngsters. Not because I want to be young, I just need to understand that they have telephones, they have iPads, they have laptops, they have television. Can I take them away? Or come on then and be the content that they consume. I think that becomes important. Because I'm not saying the older people are boring and you can make them happy with small things. But younger people have a smaller span of attention. So I measure my success. Can I hold the attention of a younger audience now? Because they have so many other distractions. And so I'm determined that they're healthy and they're happy. That's it. Money and material part does not count to me. I'm determined to make, for me that would be successful.
What advice would you give to anybody hoping to follow in your footsteps and enter a career in acting?
Don't try to formulate an image. Just be yourself. Be honest. Be very hardworking. Be courageous enough to make mistakes. Don't figure out who's following, how much following you have, and I need to put this picture out at the airport. I think life has got a lot more for you to take and give than just being worried about 15 minutes of fame. Work for longevity, work for long-term goals, not short-term gains. And I know these are things we read about from childhood, but I speak from an experience of a person who's risen from nothing to become someone that people love so much. And it's the honest truth. Hard work, courage to fail, get up again, make the same mistakes over and over again, and try and come out of it every time.
What's the one thing that surprised you with your career? You know, if you say you can go into something with preconceptions, but was it different to how you thought it was going to be?
Oh, very different. I thought I'm the best actor in the world when I came on the set. Honest to God, when I came on the set, and I'm like, fish them all off. Come on, I'm ready. I thought I'm going to do that. And then I realized everybody on the sets was acting better than me. I took the first flight back to Delhi. I remember there used to be an international flight which was 25% cheaper. I couldn't afford the other one. I rushed to the airport, bought the ticket, and I wanted to go home because I realized I was such a bad actor. I saw the rushes, I looked completely wrong, and then I realized that I was disrespecting the fact because if you've not been in the real world, you think you're the best. So every time I'm learning more, I'm realizing how bad I am. I think that's what surprised me about acting. Every time, 35 years, like you said, nearly 100 films. Every time I go on the set, I realize how much there is more to know. The more you get to know, the more you realize how much more there is that I didn't have knowledge enough. So I think that surprises me about acting, that I'm still not as good as 10 years ago, I was a cat's whiskers. Suddenly I'm realizing 10 years later, that wasn't so good. Sometimes I see an old film and I say, how could I not do it better? So I think that's what has surprised me most about my profession. That every time I wake up, I realize I could have been better the previous time when I went to acting.
How?
I am, yeah. But I can be better. My goal is that, can I be better?
Can you tell us how you became best at building brand Khan? Because that took time. I always say this, it's something I truly believe in, that I did not, like I said just before, do not try to make or work for an image. There is only one person you know the best. Not your sister, not your brother, not your mother, not your wife, not your best friend. You know yourself the best. That's what I believe. I know myself the best. I know I'm best at being me. So that's what I did. I didn't try to be anything else. So there were times when people think I'm brash, there are times when people think I'm extra kind, there are times when people think I'm silly, there are times when people think I'm good. But it's all me. It wasn't an attempt at becoming someone else. And then an image got created, and I'm sorry I take my name in third person, Shar Rukh Khan. And I am very clear that I work for that image. I'm not that image myself. I cannot be, so I don't want I'm as romantic as I am in my films. Okay, I do lie. Not that romantic, but I'm very romantic. I just want to continue. So that's the myth. And I just know I work for that myth. I'm not that myth. I'm not that image. I'm not larger than life. I need to work harder to maintain the larger than lifeness. So I think that's one thing to build, or I've thought of building the brand. I'm very clear. I work for the myth that Shar Rukh Khan is. I'm an employee of this myth. I'm not the owner of this myth. One. Second, like I said, burden of expectation has to be on your shoulders if you want to be a brand. You cannot be a brand without saying, oh, somebody else will take care of it. You have to do it hands-on yourself. You have to take the onus of failure.
and say, it happened because of me, and I will correct it next time. And third thing is, which is often said but never followed, you have to be working very, very hard. You have to work round the clock, all night long, don't sleep, then come on DP World and do it in the morning and do your interview. I've worked so hard to do it.
Sultan, bring him in the evening. I wondered, are there any ambitions and dreams that you still hope to nate with that? You know, how do you think that storytelling can maybe be leveraged in business? You know, particularly in a global or multicultural industry like freight.
I really believe that the oldest mode of communication or people becoming social is through storytelling. I'll tell you, I was coming in the plane and I read somewhere that there were two countries at war and two men fighting against each other died in the war. Separate countries, it was just a story, it's not a real happening. And two mothers of the two sons who died in the war. I'm sorry, it's a little morbid for early morning, but you have a happy ending. And these two mothers, and the two mothers met, and they were both, smitten by this tragedy, destroyed by this tragedy of using their young sons against each other. But when the mothers sat down together, they found so much commonality in the tragedy and the sadness they had, that they went back a little better than they were before they met each other, both having lost their sons. I believe that storytelling, multicultural, different languages, different borders, freight, traveling from one place, going from one country, taking stuff to the other one, which has no, on the face of it, nothing common between each other. But if you're able to find a commonality in the story that you have, there is always going to be a commonality in tragedy, in happiness, and goodness, and storytelling. And I think with multicultures and people speaking different languages, there is not a chance that you won't find a commonality. So for success, for multicultural global business, is to find commonality in the stories and understand that. And I think that's even more enjoyable as a storyteller. Oh, you also do the same thing. Oh, you play with the same toy. Oh my God, you watch the same television show. You know, we were sitting in a plane with somebody and suddenly somebody says, oh, you seen this on Netflix? Oh, you've seen that? And you're like, oh my God, I love it. You love it. Oh, we are friends. So you need to find commonality in your story for global, multicultural access in business. And I think and I'm a storyteller, so for me everything stems from.
Let's talk about something now that is very close to your heart, and that is philanthropy, and that has played a very big role in your life. You know, why do you feel that it is so important to people with influence to be able to give back?
So I come from a very poor background, very lower middle class background in India, where I didn't have, I wasn't very well off. And so I've never had this intention of wanting to give back. I find that not wrong. I just find it not how I feel about philanthropy. I think how it stems for me is that I really respect what I've got. Like I just thanked everybody. That's from the bottom of my heart. I fully understand that my success is not just because of me. It's a confluence of a lot of people coming together in the way I have lived my life with them, whether it's through my cinema or at a personal level. The fame, the riches, the name, everything that has come to me actually doesn't belong to me. And I'm not being extra humble, I'm being honest. It doesn't belong to me. I'd be stupid to think all of this that has happened to me, including standing on the railing outside my house, is only because of me. It's never a one-way street. I can go and stand outside the railing of my house. Nobody needs to love me back. It is a two-way street. And when you become the chosen one for some reason, I don't even know the reason, when you get to be the chosen one and you have this privilege of good fortune, I think it's a natural consequence that you need to share it with the people who made it happen. I don't know if I make sense, but you have to share it with the people who made it happen. So I'm not ever giving back. I'm just sharing it with my partners. I just want everybody to get the opportunity that I got in life when I came from Delhi as a low middle class boy with no money in his pocket. I just want to have the philanthropy part of it to be, a lot of people gave me opportunities. Can I also be giving some kind of opportunity to someone who's like me and whose life can change with the privileges of good fortune that I've got.
Do you think that made you extra determined in your career from the background that you came from? How did that prepare you?
Yes, like I mentioned, and I don't want to give sad stories. Like I said, every sad story I say early in the morning. Yeah, but it's early morning, otherwise I would tell less sad stories also. Evening time, if you had called me DP World, I would be fine. But I'll tell you honestly, I think, I'll tell you a strange thing. My parents died, I was young. I think my father when I was 14, my mother when I was 24. So I lost them at good gaps of 10 years. There is a saying that losing one parent is sad, losing both is careless. So yeah, I lost both of them. And I just started feeling that I felt very sad, obviously. Everybody does. And I had nowhere to go. I had a sister with me and just the two of us left in this world. And I felt one morning that maybe my parents are there somewhere. I will meet up with them again. For sure, I believe that. I think they're stars in the sky and I'll meet them. These are simple, true beliefs I have, that I'll meet them once.
Nice.
And aren't they worried right now? Oh my God, what must be happening to my 24-year-old kid who has no sustenance? So I started working very hard. I became very determined to be successful because I didn't want my parents to feel bad that they've not fended for me. So it's a very strange way to look at things. I just said, okay, my father and my mother should not feel they've not fended for me. So I'll try and work very hard, earn some money, become successful, and turn around and say, I'm doing good. Don't feel guilty you died early. So that was the reason. But I feel, yeah, and I feel very guilty if I died early. I feel guilty for a lot of things if I died early. But, you know, parents must be feeling, they must be missing us. They must be feeling, oh my God, God must be saying, no, it's time to come now, and you can't avoid it and stuff. So it was unavoidable, but I didn't want them to feel bad. Then I'm determined, you know, now for my children. And in a good way, that their lives should be healthy, they should be happy. All three of them are very beautiful, very lovely, very loving, very hardworking.
I say that to my kids every day, be healthy, entertainment industry or beyond.
Jane, now I just take it as it comes. I'm really in a happy space.
Yeah.
God's been kind, Allah's been kind, Bhagwan has been very, very kind. For me, it is all about now enjoying what I do and let that enjoyment permeate to everybody else. I want everyone to be joyful. I want every three-wheeler scooter to have two ladies sitting in it, all around me and smiling when they see me. That's all I want to do. Some men also, yeah, they can also smile. Some guys can also smile with me. That's also nice. But
How did the scooter stay up if they waved?
it's a three-wheeler.
Oh, it's a
See, that's the thing. You cannot let girls smile in two-wheelers. The two-wheeler girls, they don't wave.
Okay.
They just look. So I'm only going for the girls who are on three-wheelers, okay? They give hands and wave out and do everything. So, since you didn't realize, Europeans, they don't have three-wheelers. So they don't
Well, we have been absolutely delighted to have you here. I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for spending your early morning here at the summit with us. Thank you to DP World for making today possible, and to you, our fantastic audience. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big cheer for one of
Thank you, DP World. Thank you, Sultan. Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you, everybody who's been connected with us. Thank you, all of you, for being here. It's always is wonderful when I come here and I get to speak with all of you. I love you very much, and I thank you. I know. Love you very much. Thank you so much, and I promise you, I'll keep working hard. I'll keep making sure that your children and their children and their children thereafter get happy with the work I do. I bring joy to your life. Thank you so much for making me this. You want what? I'm so glad I don't have a complicated step that I have to do. It's a simple one, everyone can do it. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.